A radar screen flickers quietly inside a command post positioned far from the front line, its operators watching a section of airspace that, until recently, was considered relatively predictable. There are no sirens, no sudden alarms, no visible signs of escalation. And yet, something has changed, not in a way that announces itself immediately, but in a way that gradually alters how every movement above the ground must now be calculated. This shift is not driven by a single dramatic event. It is the result of a system quietly entering service, a system that does not rely on visibility to assert its presence. In the northwestern military zone, Russia has begun deploying an upgraded air defense capability that is forcing a reassessment of what control over contested airspace actually means. For years, air defense planning across Europe operated on a set of relatively stable assumptions. Threats were categorized, engagement envelopes were defined, and response times were calculated with a degree of confidence that allowed for structured planning. High-altitude targets followed predictable trajectories. Low-altitude threats could be masked by terrain, but remained within known parameters. Layered defense systems were designed to address these variables, creating zones of protection that, while not impenetrable, were considered manageable. But those assumptions depend on consistency. They depend on systems behaving within expected limits. What is now emerging in the northwestern zone suggests that those limits are shifting. The upgraded system now appearing in this region is not entirely new in its foundation. It builds on an existing architecture that has been refined over time, integrating improvements in radar sensitivity, tracking algorithms, and engagement coordination. From the outside, the launch units may appear familiar. The radar arrays may not immediately signal a departure from previous generations, but internally, the system operates with a level of integration and responsiveness that changes how threats are detected, classified, and engaged. This is not a cosmetic upgrade, it is a functional evolution. One of the most significant changes lies in detection capability. Modern aerial threats no longer conform to traditional profiles. Drones operate at low altitudes with minimal radar signatures. Cruise missiles follow terrain-hugging paths designed to avoid early detection. Hypersonic and high-speed targets compress reaction times to seconds. A system that relies on a single detection method is no longer sufficient. The upgraded Russian air defense network addresses this by combining multiple sensing approaches, allowing it to identify targets that would previously have been difficult to track consistently. This does not make it infallible, but it reduces uncertainty, and in air defense, reduced uncertainty is a decisive advantage. Tracking is only part of the equation. Engagement speed is equally critical. The time between detection and interception has always been a limiting factor. As threats become faster and more maneuverable, that window narrows. The upgraded system appears designed to operate within these compressed timelines, automating certain decision processes and improving coordination between units. This reduces delays that would otherwise occur in a more fragmented network. The result is not necessarily a higher interception rate in every scenario, but a more consistent ability to respond under pressure.
Mobility is another defining feature. Traditional air defense systems often relied on fixed or semi-fixed positions, allowing them to establish strong coverage over specific areas, but limiting their flexibility. The current approach emphasizes movement. Launchers, radar units, and support elements are designed to reposition frequently, complicating efforts to locate and target them. This mobility creates a shifting defensive landscape where coverage zones are not static but dynamic. For any opposing force, this introduces an additional layer of complexity. Planning an air operation becomes more uncertain when the location and configuration of defensive systems cannot be predicted with confidence. This is where the strategic implications begin to take shape. Air superiority has historically depended on the ability to control, or at least contest, the airspace above the battlefield. That control is achieved not only through aircraft, but through the suppression or avoidance of air defense systems. When those systems become more adaptive, more mobile, and more integrated, the effort required to achieve air superiority increases. It is no longer sufficient to neutralize a few key installations. The entire network must be considered, and that network is now more resilient than before. From NATO's perspective, this development does not represent an immediate loss of capability, but it does alter the operational environment. Western air forces retain significant advantages in terms of technology, training, and coordination. However, those advantages are most effective when the conditions of engagement are understood. When defensive systems evolve in ways that reduce predictability, the margin for error narrows. Missions that were once considered routine may now require additional planning, additional support, and greater risk tolerance. The economic dimension also plays a role. Air defense systems, particularly advanced ones, are expensive to develop and deploy. Interceptors, radar components, and support infrastructure all require significant investment. When a system can be upgraded incrementally rather than replaced entirely, it allows for continuous improvement without the delays associated with new development programs. This creates a cycle of adaptation that can keep pace with emerging threats. It also allows for wider deployment, increasing coverage without proportionally increasing cost. In the northwestern zone, this expanded coverage has direct implications for how airspace is used. Areas that were previously considered lower risk may now fall within effective engagement range. Flight paths must be adjusted, altitudes must be reconsidered. The margin between safe and contested airspace becomes less distinct. This does not eliminate the ability to operate, but it changes the conditions under which operations occur. It introduces a level of uncertainty that must be accounted for in every mission plan. This uncertainty extends beyond immediate tactical considerations. It influences strategic calculations as well. Deterrence is not only about capability, but about perception. When a defensive system is known to be effective, it can discourage certain actions before they are even attempted. The upgraded air defense network contributes to this effect by increasing the perceived risk of operating within its range. It does not need to intercept every target to be effective. It only needs to create enough doubt to influence decision-making. The integration of this system into a broader defensive framework further amplifies its impact. Air defense does not operate in isolation. It is connected to early warning systems, command and control networks, and other elements of the military structure. Improvements in one area can enhance the effectiveness of the entire system. The upgraded network in the northwestern zone appears to be part of such an integrated approach, where data is shared, responses are coordinated, and coverage is layered to address multiple types of threats simultaneously. This layered structure is particularly relevant in an environment where threats are diverse and evolving. Drones, cruise missiles, and high-speed weapons each present different challenges. A system optimized for one may struggle with another. By combining multiple capabilities, the network can address a wider range of scenarios. This does not guarantee success in every engagement, but it reduces vulnerability to any single type of attack.
For those analyzing the situation, the key takeaway is not the presence of a specific system, but the pattern it represents. The upgrade reflects a broader approach to military development, one that prioritizes adaptation, integration, and incremental improvement. Rather than relying solely on new platforms, it builds on existing ones, refining them based on operational experience. This approach allows for faster implementation and greater flexibility, both of which are critical in a rapidly changing environment. The impact of this approach is cumulative. Each upgrade may seem limited in isolation, but together they create a system that is more capable, more resilient, and more difficult to counter. Over time, these incremental changes can alter the balance of the battlefield, not through a single decisive breakthrough, but through a steady shift in capability and perception. This is the shift that is now becoming visible in the northwestern military zone. It is not marked by dramatic announcements or sudden changes in posture. It is defined by a gradual reconfiguration of how air defense operates and how airspace is contested. For those who rely on established assumptions, this can be difficult to track. The changes are subtle, but their effects are not. In practical terms, this means that future operations in this region will be conducted under different conditions than before. Planning cycles will need to account for greater uncertainty. Coordination between air and ground elements will become more critical. The margin for error will be smaller, and the consequences of miscalculation more significant. These are not insurmountable challenges, but they require adjustment. For Russia, the deployment of this upgraded system reflects a continuation of a strategic approach that emphasizes layered defense and controlled escalation. By strengthening air defense capabilities, it increases the cost of operating within contested airspace, thereby shaping the behavior of potential adversaries. This does not eliminate the possibility of conflict, but it influences how that conflict would unfold. For NATO, the response will likely involve a combination of technological adaptation, tactical adjustment, and strategic reassessment. Air defense and counter-air capabilities will continue to evolve, as they always have. The introduction of new variables into the environment does not end the competition, it changes its parameters. Ultimately, the significance of this development lies not in any single specification or performance metric, but in its effect on the broader system. Airspace is no longer defined solely by altitude and range. It is defined by networks, by integration, and by the ability to adapt faster than the opposing side. The upgraded Russian air defense system in the northwestern zone is part of that evolution. It does not need to dominate the sky to be effective. It only needs to complicate it. And in modern warfare, complexity itself is a form of control.